So Rod's not here. I don't know what to.
Oh, he's gonna show up there. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think I can let him in until it hits 5:30.
That's the riprap proposal for the gravel. No, the gravel proposal for trails. Adding gravel.
Okay.
Bid. I think that's what that is. Yes, Don. Tom just brought that in. And then the other one's a riprap proposal for killing the weeds and the rocks down there.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's why we do
I
this.
know, I know. That's the easy stuff. We're waiting on the car.
Not yet.
Who's the cowboy in the background?
It's been a long day. Day school had their board
It can't be
retreat
over
today
fast
from
enough.
8 to noon.
Oh, wow.
And then we were in meetings from 1 to 2. And I picked the kids up at 3 and came back.
Yeah, every day of yours is full. Isn't it?
Oh, man.
Did you get your chamber pot off the porch? Where your doggies got it?
It sounds,
When I clicked on Zoom, it says start, but when I click on it, it says there's a meeting already in progress. I think because it's scheduled, does it like automatically start at 5:30? Oh wait, it's doing something now. Well, it shows on the screen, it says it's July 29, and it start in. So it's just saying it's up.
It's on.
I know, I'm just telling you, my 5 years start.
It could be turned up, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'm hoping it'll work at 5:30. It's not.
What's yours on out there? Is it on?
It's not gonna help in here, that's why we have that, but I'm not sure what it's on.
6 more hours.
Turn its fan speed up. We may be freezing.
I won't be.
I probably won't either.
Thanks.
And I did, sorry, I have to put you on speaker so I can see my notes. So I started streaming, I started recording. I have to start the virtual camera, but I don't do that until you're on.
Yeah, I don't know.
So we're live apparently, just so you know. As of like 30 seconds ago.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so Zoom now says the meeting is now. You have a meeting that's currently in progress. Please end it to start the meeting.
I know.
We'll give her 3 more minutes. Yeah, yes, we do.
Yes, I have a meeting.
Would you like it all?
9 to 6 9 to 3 8 2 5.
I know it is.
So we're live. But we're not on YouTube. We're live on YouTube, kind of.
So we both logged in as you, no problem. Okay. We'll send.
Yeah.
My
Get a little
last
cattle
my
prod.
last meeting.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Can you create a new meeting and send it to, oh, then it won't be here, so you send it to mine.
Anything.
You're all dressed up, ready. You're all dressed up, pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna wear something really weird, but I really don't like that.
'Cause I am plugged into Rock
to
Park.
myself, so I decided to do that.
You look very nice.
Yeah, I don't know.
595.
Yeah. Sorry for the delay, folks. We're trying to get our fifth councilman in a Zoom here, who's out of town, so.
This is looking promising. Oh, not our video. So we see your name. No video. No sound, right? You're not hearing
I
him.
don't hear anything.
Are you on Sparklight? Because the internet was out.
Oh, it says you're talking.
Okay, so,
Oh, good, we got it.
Oh.
Yay, we got you. Okay.
so you can see me, can you hear me?
Though we can't see you, we can hear you.
Start virtual.
Is his video on?
Here, wait, let me
His
start.
camera is turned on.
There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go.
Hey, we got you.
You're on camera.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
You're very big. Okay.
You ready, Carl?
Smile, Rob.
You ready? Very big. I like that. Okay. We'll call to order the August 20th, 2024 New Harmony Town Council meeting. Would everyone please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No, you're fine. You know what that was.
I'm gonna read something real quick. I'm not gonna say who wrote it because I've been told I might not be correct on who wrote it. But I was asked by a local citizen to add this to our agenda at the beginning of the meeting. But it says, if we cannot reconcile all opinions, let us endeavor to unite all hearts. So we're gonna start with that tonight anyway. Jeff said it. Okay, that's who said it tonight. Okay, first of all, roll call there. Please,
Smotherman.
Here.
Arnberg.
Here.
Clark.
Here.
Winesapple.
Here.
Williams.
Okay, thank you. All right, next would be the approval of the minutes of the 7/16/24 regular meeting. We'll have a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion, a second?
Second.
Have a motion, a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Hi.
All opposed?
Got to do a roll call.
Oh, sorry, you're correct. Roll call on the minutes.
Smotherman.
Yay.
Arnberg.
Yay.
Clark.
Yes.
Winesapple.
Yes.
Williams.
Yep. Thank you. Motion carries. All right, report of department heads. Rod, do you want to start?
I don't have too much to report, Jeff, other than what I have on the agenda, so I'll leave it at that for now.
Okay. Laura, on department heads?
I do, if my notes will cooperate. We had some more housing, the Posey County, is doing a housing study, and we had some more steering committee meetings, which I'm on. If any of you get invitations, they're doing focus groups with realtors, business owners, citizens, whatever. So if you have an interest in that, they're trying to gauge, they've hired a firm to gauge the need for housing in Posey County. They're working with all the industry in Mount Vernon, all the leaders from the surrounding towns in Posey County. So that is ongoing. Posey County included us in that, obviously, because we're in the county, but we are not paying for it, the county is. But so been working on that. The big news is that we heard from Evansville EREP that we now are eligible again for CDBG dollars. So these are community development block grant funds that depends on the local income level, and it varies at times. We have been eligible at times, we have not. For years now we have not, so we are again now. So Connie and I had a call today with them about stormwater grants, master planning grants for utility systems. So there's a lot of options in that we're excited we're eligible to apply for again. I have another note. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it for now.
Okay, I'll go ahead with public safety. A little bit of good news on the fire department. A lot of you, I don't know if you're familiar with our ladder truck is 1992 version, I believe. So every 5 years that ladder has to be tested for stability and safety, and they performed that test among other tests on our ladder truck at the fire department last week. I guess it's the state. I'm not sure who did that, but. We passed, which means we have 5 more years on the latter part of it. Anyway, there were a few mechanical issues that have to be addressed with it, so that's pushing back about 1.9 million if we had to buy a new one here anytime soon. So I just wanted to report that, and that's good news. And we will get a full report from that inspection that I can report on next month. So town marshal, everybody knows Chad is gone as of last week. We have over 40 resumes submitted that we're starting to look at. Our deadline was this Friday for receiving resumes, so we have some good ones. We have some that will probably be discarded quickly, but we're going to go through those. I think Connie and I basically are going to work on that, going through them and bringing it down to a measurable number that we can interview, easily. So, but and then work with everybody on picking that. But other than that, on public safety, and then I had Historic New Harmony had a letter, but I'm sure Diane will fresh us on her request for help with the students all coming to town, and she'd asked that we have our marshal help be a part of that, and we're going to figure that. You say that part real quick if you want,
Sure.
Diane, what you're doing.
On September 10th, USI is bringing out all their freshman students, so we'll have 1,300 freshman students out here from USI. So I had asked if we could have the town marshal help with that. We are going to have 2 public safety officers out here, as well as the Posey County Health Department, but this would just to help
Sure.
support that. So.
Sure. So, and we'll do all we can, and I've already talked with both of our deputy marshals, and we'll get it figured out too. So, and the other thing that I had was the Relay for Life was a success in town last weekend. They were very happy with their park usage and the park itself. They did the 5K, and we had our deputy marshal and a couple other county marshals here to help with the 5K, and so they were very complimentary of New Harmony again and what we did to help put that on. So I just wanted to pass that along. So that's all that really I have. You want to go ahead?
Yeah.
Connie?
I mentioned at the last meeting, or maybe it was the one before that, about there are lots of places around town where we've had washouts related to the big drains, the big culverts under the sidewalks. I went around with Brian Strader, our maintenance supervisor, several months ago, and we talked about, you think there are 3 of them, well, there are a lot more than 3 of them. So he has put together kind of a report of everything that he found. He systematically went through all the streets of town and took pictures of where we have problems with drainage. So I'm hoping part of our conversation with EREP and what is possible for grants, I'm hoping down the road we can address all of this holistically when we look seriously at the sidewalks and the drainage and all the problems related to the streets out there. The other thing is tree survey. There has been a grant applied for to purchase a tree inventory. I think Tom Guggenheim was involved with this, and I don't know if they've heard, they probably haven't heard yet, but I'm trying to figure out ways that we can work with them to put all of our street trees and the park's trees on that inventory, or if we have to go out on our own and get our own tree inventory. But this is all part of the idea of trying to get a grip on all of the trees and the condition that we find them all in. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about, that is not streetscape, but the comprehensive plan. I know there are a couple of people in the room tonight that are on the steering committee for the comprehensive plan. So, the first steering committee meeting was on July 31st. I think there were 14 of the 16 members there. I was very pleased with that. I got good feedback from some of the members that were there about how they perceived the REA, the firm that we hired to conduct this, how they explained what a comprehensive plan is and what it does to start to build enthusiasm. So tonight publicly, I'm pleased to be able to announce our, what they're calling the Community Design Week. That will be September 30th through October 4th. There will be 2 public workshops where anybody is invited to come in and give their ideas about what they think is important for the future of New Harmony. The first one will be on September 30th from 6:30 to 8, and the second one will be on Thursday night, October 3rd from 6:30 to 8. Now, right after Labor Day, we're going to be putting up posters all around town, and I want everyone to mark it down on your calendar to participate in some part of this. There will be focus groups that will concentrate on different segments of the community. Like, for instance, people that work here in New Harmony but don't live here in New Harmony. What is their idea of the future of New Harmony beyond all of us who are citizens living in the town? That'll be, of course, the main focus. But we want to know what visitors think. The firm is going to come on the Kunstfest weekend, and they're gonna survey people that visit our town to get some impressions from them as well. So I'm excited. I think we're going down the road, and you'll learn more every meeting. I'll be reporting on what's going on. We're trying to figure out how we can get the word out beyond just posters, maybe using the town's website. We got to get the word out. So any way you can help do that, it'd be wonderful. Let's see. That's it for right now.
Mr. Williams?
Sure. The cemetery's doing great. The fellow that was here last month that's going to work on fixing and replacing, not replacing, but putting back into place some of our gravestones, hasn't contacted me. I don't think he's started yet. I think he's still in the steady portion of that project, but I'm excited about that. I've had other people talk to me about their ideas about it, so it's getting around. So we had a lively and lengthy parks, trails and trees meeting this last Tuesday, and it's a group that's doing a great job. A couple of things that they've put into place are we're getting all the campsites new electrical GFI outlets. It's overdue. Some of them were pretty funky. We're getting some estimates, I'm sorry, on some of the rest of the lighting around the pathway in the park. I think there's 14. It's quite a hodgepodge. Some are out. The conduit to them is pretty iffy, and that'll be something that we hope will fold into the comprehensive plan. Also, there's some things I'll be talking about later about the trails and the campsites, but Andy Batt has done a really great job working on getting the campsites to be available online to make reservations for, and we're hoping that it'll stimulate some camping there that hasn't been happening because it's a bit of a question mark about how to do it, where to go. We haven't really organized that in the past, and with our technology today, it's something I feel that will stimulate some interest and some campers, hopefully. Yeah, that's about it. There's a tree in the park that's going to get cut down that missed the new shelter and the Boy Scout cabin, fortunately. But Connie's going to talk about trees later. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to open forum. This is a moment for, a time for each of you to express any concerns or not questions, but you can ask a question, we won't answer tonight in open forum, but, or make statements of things that are of concern to you or of interest to you. So we'll open the open forum, 1 minute each, please, kind of keep it to that. And we'll start with whoever wants to go first. We got something, Charles?
Are there any plans to patch the road out by Taylor and Main where the water was fixed? There's quite a spot out there, and it's, I think it'd be dangerous because the golf carts tend to go around it, and cars coming the other way.
I'll put
Curious
that
about
down.
that.
I'll put that down, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sure there are plans, I just don't know the timeline. Anybody else? Next, Diane?
I just wanted to let everyone know, January 25th, 2025 is the bicentennial of the Owen McClure experiment. And when Owen bought the property or the town from the Harmonists. So I'm working on creating a committee to figure out how we can celebrate the bicentennial. If you're interested, just come and let me know, and we'll start meeting soon.
Thank you, thank you. Ken?
Your next meeting is the Tuesday before Coons Fest weekend. We are almost full. We set the boundaries at brewery, west, south, and north. No, we're not going to spring out of that as we get into the neighborhoods. So far, we have 305 slots filled, and we have $7,700 in sponsorship. So we're
Great,
doing great.
great. Thank you. Thank you for that report.
My name's Lisa Calzert, and I'm here to ask you to remove the water meter at 501 Taylor. Also, I'd like to know if there was a place where I can get the town rules. There's a website, or if you guys have it on paper. Also, I'd like a copy of the old ordinances, maybe a copy of the addendums, or somewhere where I can go and look for them. And the town of New Harmony offered some help towards this Taylor thing, and I was wondering exactly what that help was.
Okay, thank you. We will have to get together with you, Lisa, or something. I didn't realize you were, I needed you on the agenda, really, but that's okay. Okay. Next.
Could I have Taylor just introduce herself now, or does that need to happen during
Yeah,
the?
no, we'll move her ahead of
Okay.
Oldie if you want to, since she's a guest, so. But anybody else in open forum?
Yeah, where can I go to get these rules? Is there a?
Right here at Town Hall. Right here at Town Hall is where all that information is
Can I
kept.
get that now, or do I have to come back during business hours?
Probably should come back during business hours, yeah.
We're trying to get them online, but it's not
Yeah,
done
we're
yet.
trying to
It's
get
in
that.
process, it's
Yeah,
not done.
That's an hour each way.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
If you call, they might, or someone could probably help email you a copy of what you need.
yes, we might could do that.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else open forum? Okay, Anita?
I'm Anita Hawkins. I'm a resident of New Harmony, and a lot of people have issued their concerns over the mosquitoes. It is an ongoing thing. My understanding is that it was made by one person, and I don't understand why the entire board wasn't a part of it. That's an issue that people are upset about, really. And another thing is, if you don't think it's effective, why has it been effective for me, 71 years? So, and I know we're discussing that later on, but those are the concerns out here.
Thank you. Anybody else for open forum? Okay, we'll close the open forum. We do have a guest tonight, and I'll let Laura introduce. I would like to make a motion, or I can't make a motion, but I guess one of them make a
I
motion
guess I
to.
can. I'm going to make a motion to move Taylor from the agenda items up because she's just here to introduce herself.
Okay, we have a
To now.
motion to move this part of the agenda to now.
I second that.
Yeah, it's hard to word. I don't know what I'm saying here. So,
No
okay.
idea what it is.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Anybody want to discuss? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, okay, you explain.
Smotherman,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, roll call. Here, yes. Hey,
Arnberg,
bye.
yeah, Clark,
Yeah.
Winesapple,
Sorry.
Williams.
Yes.
Okay, now you want to introduce?
Okay, this is Taylor. She's with, you can introduce yourself as well, the CDFI Evansville. And she contacted me about just coming in and introducing herself to the community, so.
Yeah, so hello everyone, my name is Taylor Price. I'm actually a Posey County native. I went to Mount Vernon, I grew up here. I spent the weekends camping in New Harmony, going to Coons Fest every year with my family. So this town is very near and dear to my heart as well. I am the executive director, I'm going to set myself down, of a nonprofit organization called CDFI Friendly Evansville Region. So we are a nonprofit organization and we focus on filling financing gaps in the underserved, under-resourced, marginalized communities in the Evansville region. So New Harmony is the Evansville region, so I cover, Vandenberg, Posey, Perry, Pike, DuBois, Gibson. I cover Southeast Illinois and I cover Henderson, Kentucky. So CDFI, it is an acronym. It stands for Community Development Financial Institutions. These are institutions, they were developed in the late 70s as an extension of the civil rights movement to meet the needs primarily of Black and brown individuals. Because back then there was a lot of racial redlining, a lot of predatory and discriminatory lending. So CDFIs emerged, funded by women's religious institutions to meet the needs of minorities. So fast forward to today, CDFIs provide lending to all sorts of entities. If you are just a regular person, W-2 job, CDFIs can help you with a small personal loan. They can help you to avoid a payday loan, help you to buy a car, help you to buy a house. So they offer lending products that can afford to take on a little bit more risk than your traditional, like your Fifth Thirds, your Old Nationals, or anything like that, so that you can still get what you need. Another special entity that I help are small businesses. So if you are a small business and you are just starting out and you need seed money to start your business, to see it grow, I can help you with that. If you are a seasoned business and you have multiple locations and you need a $10 million loan to get something to add services to hire more people, I can help you with that too. And then the last entity that I help are nonprofits. So if there are any nonprofits that have mission-driven projects or they want to build a community center or something like that, CDFI has helped to fund that as well. So I don't want to take up much time here because I know everyone's here to have a voice and you have a responsibility to use it. Absolutely, I love that. So if anyone wants to have a one-to-one with me, I will go grab my business cards. I left them in my car by the post office. I'll go grab them and bring in a stack for people who want to have a one-to-one with me. But thank you guys so much for letting me come in and have my, a couple minutes just to tell you about what I do and how I help bring impact to our communities.
Appreciate you driving out here.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go grab my business cards. I'm gonna leave a stack up here, so I'll probably.
Taylor, can you just leave them on the counter out there?
Out
Everybody
there?
will walk by them on
That's
the way out.
perfect. I'll go do that. Thank you all so
Yeah.
much.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to old business, UTV discussion. I guess I'm the lead on this. We've been talking about it now for a couple months at least. And in talking with my fellow council members and a lot of you, and our folks that have been here at many of the meetings on both sides of the discussion. We have the board received what is it? Petitions, I'm sorry, regarding your views on, a lot of your views on it and signatures on those. We have those. Everybody has seen those, I'm sure. So what I have kind of taken on myself to do tonight is propose an amended ordinance regarding simply a first reading that I've worked with Nathan on. He's helped put the ordinance proposal together for me based off other ordinances we looked at and stuff around the area. And just with a request that we allow those residents that live here that have them, which I think there's 3 families basically right now that have asked, Dawn and Sean were here last year, and they asked last month and asked that if we, at a minimal, if we could consider that, the board would consider the proposal to them go directly out of town on a legal way to Maine and out of town and back the same way with their vehicles. So I would like to read this as a to the group of what I'm putting forward to propose. It's not something that would have to be voted on tonight or anything. It will be a first reading of the amendment that I'm proposing that we consider anyway. So, whereas IC 1416-122 allows a town to pass an ordinance regulating or amend an ordinance regulating operation of off-road vehicles if the ordinance meets substantially the minimum requirements of IC 1416-1 codes. Whereas the Town Council of New Harmony, the Town of New Harmony now desires to permit and regulate the operation of off-road vehicles on town streets. Now therefore be it ordained by the Town Council, Town of New Harmony, State of Indiana, and now amends ordinance number 10.16 as follows. 10.16.010 definition: off-road vehicle means a motor vehicle capable of cross-country travel without the benefit of a road or natural terrain as described in Indiana Code 14.82185. 10.16.20 permitted use of off-road vehicles in the Town of New Harmony. Off-road vehicles not allowed to travel on public streets in the Town of New Harmony with the following exceptions: only persons who are residents of the Town of New Harmony, eligible to register vote in the Town of New Harmony elections, and who hold title to an ORV that is properly registered with the State of Indiana pursuant to Indiana Code 1416-1-18. May operate the person's ORV on public streets of New Harmony, provided that said operation is strictly limited to public streets that allow the persons to travel the shortest route practicable between the person's residence and Main Street, so the persons may operate the ORV traveling south beyond town limits. Persons must use the same route when returning to the person's residence. Other travel is strictly prohibited. Requirements for operator of an off-road vehicle. Pursuant to IC 1416-1, an operator of an ORV must possess a valid motor vehicle driver's license. There were some questions about that I think you discussed, and I spoke some more, whether we could do that or not, whether we could require that. And you and I worked, and we figured that is legal for us to do that according. I know, Nathan, that I've got 2 ordinances from Poseyville and Vanderbilt County who did require that they have a driver's license, that they were required to have that to do that. So just wanted to clarify that because I know you and her had spoke, about that some as well, you and Connie. Use and operation of off-road vehicles on town streets, speed limit. An operator must comply with the terms of the conditions of this ordinance. ORVs are subject to a restricted speed limit of 15 miles per hour. Pursuant to IC 1416-1, an ORV may be operated between sunset and sunrise unless the vehicle has at least one headlight. Unless it has at least one headlight, taillight, and an ORV may not be operated at any time unless the vehicle has adequate brakes capable of producing deceleration 14 speed at second level ground at speed of 20 miles per hour with regards to lights and brakes with the ORV. Number of occupants. No ORV shall be occupied by persons for which the vehicles was designed and designated seating. All occupants of an ORV must be in designated seating. Duties in event of accident. Pursuant to the IC 1416-124, the operator of an accident, of an ORV, of an accident within the town of New Harmony resulting in the bodily injury to or death of an individual or property damage in an estimated amount of at least $750 shall immediately, by the quickest means of communication, notify the state police, Pony County Sheriff's Officer, or the New Harmony Town Marshal. Liability insurance. An operator operating an ORV must possess liability insurance for operation on public streets and roads in amounts required as IC 925-4-5. Possession of registration and certificate of insurance. Anyone operating an ORV shall carry on his or his person any registration or permit required under IC 146-1, certificate of insurance for operation on public streets and roads required under this ordinance for the ORV being operated. Registration and inspection for ORV. All persons eligible to operate an ORV obtain a permit for the ORV with the town of New Harmony and submit the ORV for inspection annually. The persons eligible to operate an ORV within town limits must show proof of insurance as described in 1016-026. The permit shall include the names of the person authorized to operate the ORV. No more than 2 persons may be authorized to operate the ORV being registered and inspected within the town limits, or being permitted and inspected within the town limits. The annual permit and the inspection shall be completed by the town marshal or designee. The town marshal shall set a reasonable time for inspections and may set reasonable penalties for late permits. No person, in 1016-029, disturbance of roadway. No person shall operate an ORV in such a manner which causes damage to the street or disturbs the surface of the roadway. Any violator of this ordinance and any such penalties set forth below shall be responsible for all costs of repairs of such damage or disturbance. Mufflers, pursuant to IC 1416-123A6, an ORV being operated within town limits must be equipped with muffler in good working order and in a constant operation to prevent excessive or unusual noise and annoying smoke. Violation, penalty. Violation of this chapter shall be covered in the town's general penalty ordinance found in section 1.08 of the New Harmony Municipal Code. And severability. In any section, paragraph, sentence, clause, or phrase in this ordinance is declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason, the remainder of this ordinance shall not be affected by such declaration and shall remain in full force and effect. So that is what I am proposing as a first reading of the proposed amendment to the current ordinance, which totally prohibits any ATV use in the town limits of New Harmony. Is there anything that I missed or that needs clarified there? Is there any discussion or anything on this? If not, is there a motion to pass it or vote on it tonight or a second? Either way, it's a first reading. It would require a unanimous vote to pass it tonight on the first reading. So I don't know that we're there. If not, we'll move on to the next and consider that as a first reading and vote on it, or see if we'll vote on it.
Well,
next
could
month.
I just reiterate
Sure.
that what this means is people are still prohibited from operating these vehicles, except there is an exception for people that own them and live in town. I would also like to propose that we put a 1-year limitation on this and add that to
An expiration date?
An expiration date, thank you, yeah, of 1 year, so that we have an opportunity to make sure that, I don't think it's gonna happen, but you never know. It was important to me that we don't have kids driving these around town, that only the people that own them and are permitted for these can do this. So in my way of thinking, we aren't creating a big mess for town, but we are accommodating the few people in town that own them. And I think that's a happy middle.
And just to clarify, the reason this is even before this board is that I was approached by multiple families, basically the same ones, during the election process and asked if this could be considered, And then it kind of blew up, and a lot of people showed up at the first meeting, and it was people that weren't just considering this part of it. So it kind of got away from us a little bit there, away from me, or away from the board, as far as what we were considering. So I'm all for New Harmony and what's best for New Harmony and what's good for us all, But I am all about listening to everyone and everybody's questions and concerns and wants or needs stuff. So everybody's voice should be heard. And I feel like that's what we've done. If it doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't go anywhere. But we've done what I said I would do, or
We
what I
want
put in
this to
before.
get out there,
Yes,
and we want feedback for it.
yes,
I mean,
yes. That's why.
I've got
first reading.
127 signatures of people that don't want the ordinance changed, right? And that's the thing that I get talked to the most in town is, we don't want New Harmony to change. We like it as it is. These are 3 families that knew the rules when they got their vehicles, and I'm unsure that I'm interested in changing that personally. And, I feel bad for those 3 families. They're all nice people, and they probably would do fine, but it's a popular category in vehicles these days, and people are moving to town, and I can see this growing, and, there's a lot of ways and a lot of homes and routes to get out of town. And then there's the issue of getting gas. How, what if that comes up? How's that gonna be handled? I'm a little hesitant to even crack this door open that much, but I would like to hear back from everybody in town about it for sure.
I would say it was great to receive all the letters and the petitions and see all the involvement from everybody. That was wonderful. If we had that much feedback on everything, we'd be much better informed. And I hope this could be a good compromise, because again, just to make sure we're crystal clear, this is for people who live in town to get out of town to operate them elsewhere, not to ride in circles around town.
And to get back
Right.
home. And to get
And,
back
and I
home.
think our thought was, these are so few people, at least currently, that the new marshal will easily know if they see someone in town that is not one of these 3 or 4 families, right? I mean, it's a very identifiable, easy thing to enforce at this point, at this scale. And if that changes, we can change the ordinance, but hopefully it's a good compromise.
And it's a good proposal to, in a year, if it's a problem, it's
Expiration,
something
yeah.
we could do away with. But that's what I wanted to put out there. I appreciate everybody listening to me, everybody being pretty kind to me and doing all this, but that's where we're at. So I will say that I'm sorry, Rod, did you want to say something?
My only comment is when we do these first readings like this, I think a copy needs to be made available. Several copies, if need to be made available at the desk at the town clerk's office, because there may be people that want to come get a copy of it, go home, take a look at it, read it. You read it there, but the disadvantage of doing a reading is, boy, I don't remember him saying that. This way they can pick it up, go home, consider it, and if they want to contact one of us about a particular part of the ordinance, they can.
Good idea.
Good idea. Good thoughts, for sure. And I will say, I know the petition had 127 signatures actually, and I respect and appreciate everybody's input on that. But it's really only, I think, 82% of our population in town right now. So everybody's there's still a lot of people that didn't have input on it, or didn't care to, or didn't want to, or whatever. So there's a lot of other people that we don't know how they feel, or a lot of people I do know how they feel about it too, but they wasn't asked to sign a petition in favor of it or anything. So just know that. But, okay, moving on. That one's closed unless anybody's got anything else.
No.
Okay. All right, and I'll work with you, Nathan, this week to clean that up a little, and we'll make it a copy available here at the town hall. Thank you all for listening. Okay, moving on. Next, we have another one, mosquito spray. So,
And he's here.
and David didn't think he was going to be here. David asked for this to be put on the agenda.
Yes.
The way this works is, the way we're trying to keep a civil meeting, and not that you're not civil, but David is able to address us and ask questions and not open it to the whole group as far as us to have a dialogue with everybody. But we try to work it best we can. It's hard. Go ahead, Dave. What do you want to open it up? And
To me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, so the question was, Anita's kind of put it out there pretty well. We made a decision not to spray, and I kind of wanted to know what that decision was based on. Any data, or was just a personal opinion? And the second question to that, after talking to Tom and Andy, they had some data on it as well. It seems as if we're not going to spray, we need to have mosquito traps somewhere in town that will be monitored by the County or some Department of Health to make sure that we're not getting West Nile or any other diseases that mosquitoes carry. And so just kind of a summary of those two things is, I think most of us like to see the spraying start again whenever the mosquitoes really get bad. And we're getting into the time of year right now when the mosquitoes do get bad. But if we can't, then those two questions, or at least the last question on the traps, I'd like to know information about that.
Okay, thank you for asking, and thank you, Anita, for bringing it up. I did not make the decision on my own without any knowledge. So immediately when we were all sworn in, and I knew that I was going to have streetscapes, I went around with Brian Strader and looked at all of our equipment and all of our facilities, and we, and he showed me the fogger, and we talked about it, and he said immediately, well, Bobby Grider, who was here for 30 years, didn't think that it was effective, because what you have to do with mosquitoes is, first of all, you gotta keep them down in individual yards, and then you have to treat low-lying areas with BT. And I thought, okay, so I did some research, and yeah, sure enough, I mean, I read that in a lot of places. And I know that while there are a lot of people that want the fogging, there are also a lot of people that don't want the fogging. And I hear from them too. There are a lot of people that don't like that, don't want to have to breathe it. Just because you want fogging in your yard, when it's fogging, it's everybody's yard. And the people that don't want it don't have a choice not to have it. So I talked to all my fellow council members, and I said, I know it's tough, I know it's gonna make people mad, but we're not gonna fog anymore, because it's not effective. So that's that. That's the story of that. What I am going to tell you, though, is that the regional entomologist from the Department of Health, Indiana Department of Health, is coming in 2 weeks. And I'm going to take him all around New Harmony, and we're going to come up with a plan to address mosquitoes. Now, I don't think it's going to be a magic solution. And the state of Indiana, Department of Health, does not say fog. They're like, that's the first thing you should do. That's not what they do. But they will help us come up with a plan. They will look at the low-lying areas. All of the low-lying water-holding areas all along the river, I don't know how we're going to do it, but maybe he'll have some ideas. And he can certainly point us in the direction of monitoring mosquitoes to make sure that if we do have a serious outbreak of any of the diseases, we can deal with it then. So that's what's going to happen. And I'll keep reporting on that.
Well, when there's a serious outbreak, that's when you do bring out the fog.
When there's what?
That's when you do bring out the fog.
When's that? I'm sorry.
When there's a serious outbreak.
And that is determined by collection of mosquitoes. I don't think it's open. It's not an open forum.
It seems open.
Yeah, I thought we.
Well, we can talk. We can talk.
But other people in the audience are talking.
David is. David is. He put it on the agenda. But
no one else can talk about it.
So the second question, part of that second part, is the county health department trapping any mosquitoes and testing? Is any of that going on? No.
That's not true. The state of Indiana has traps, and they monitor this state. and you will learn this when this guy comes down. What triggers fogging is when 4 flies out of 1,000 test positive for one of these viruses. When the amount of viral infection is low, the risk is so minimal of infection that you don't need spray. That's the science.
Okay, Tom, well,
Go ahead.
Well,
do
I mean, let
we know if we
David-
have traps in New Harmony? Oh,
we
don't know
do,
that.
we do not, but that will be part of what the expert will recommend to us.
Fair enough. No, I
Yeah.
got you. Fair enough.
So we're gonna, we're gonna get the
So
Department
it's
of
not
Health
dead,
involved.
it's not dead and done right now.
No,
Okay.
no. But to just go out and spray, that is the decision that I said no to just go out and spray. Because you are not taking care of the ones that are gonna hatch tomorrow. So,
There are a lot of people that are against spraying in town. And I know they're not here speaking up tonight, but there are a lot of people that are very concerned with the hazards of chemicals and stuff that are sprayed, not just for mosquitoes, but for crops and everything else, so.
I'm gonna
That-
talk to you.
Okay, now, I'll say one more thing and I'll quit.
No,
It's
that's
been my understanding though, from the previous Posey County Health Department officials, I don't think we're there anymore, that the spray that we were using was not detrimental to people's health or to other moths, butterflies, and bees. That's hearsay. So that's-
Well, we'll let the entomologist tell us.
Fair enough, Connie. Okay, thank you for addressing it.
Yes. No more.
Can this
Sorry.
be put back on next month? Since
Sure,
we can't
sure,
talk?
anybody can put it on.
If this is not an open forum, when was it
sad.
an open forum to talk about it?
Open forum for you to speak, open forum for you to speak on your position on it or thoughts or concerns on it. And if you put it on the agenda, it is, we can't lose it to the mob, just
No, I
everybody
understand
and back and
that
forth.
A decision was made that impacted the entire town. When was that forum?
A decision to spray impacts the entire town also.
So when
So
did we
to
have
not
an
so,
open forum for that is my question.
we haven't had an open forum for that.
Okay.
We've had an open forum for, in general discussion, in general comments.
At each meeting.
At each meeting.
Well, not before the decision was made.
Every meeting, we've had open forum since we've been here for you to discuss
So we
it.
had an open forum before the decision was made.
Yes.
But we never could.
Not specifically for
Not
that.
specifically for that, but for
That
any,
sounds like we
but for
have-
any subject.
Every meeting we
But
have
for
an
any
open forum.
subject, any subject.
Okay, I understand, but a decision was made that impacted the entire town. And before that decision was made, there was never an open forum about that decision. There was never an opportunity.
Not
for people to
specifically
say
that, no, not specifically that,
So
no.
that's my question,
Okay.
is how does that decision come about that impacts the entire town?
Well, and I've,
All of these decisions impact the
yeah,
entire town.
yeah, everything impacts the entire town. But it was, and I've told you before, we have department heads. And each of us are responsible for different groups or different things, different items in town, that have to do with the town. Connie's over streetscapes, which is over the guys that spray, or would spray, or whatever. Connie is also second on whatever, economic development. Rod is part of, water and sewer, which is over the guys that work for the town. So that decision was made by the department head, at the time, which I can make department head decisions on other things myself in town, public safety and stuff. Yeah, maybe some of those should be voted on. I don't know, but it wasn't. That's the way it was decided, and that's where we're at today. So now we're doing research and bringing in science to help understand why the decision was made, or to make a decision to go back and spray, whatever science says we need to do. That's my opinion anyway. I don't know if anybody else
I
has.
love it that we're getting so many people here at these meetings because we have some controversial issues, but open forum was before we started old business, and I would have liked to hear from all the spraying opinions during that part of our meeting. That's when you could have expressed
Just like Anita did.
Yeah, just like Anita did, just like Anita
Just
did.
like Anita
I
did.
know, but then you would answer that,
No, not in open forum,
Right.
not in open
But it
forum.
registers.
Every one of you, and almost everyone on that board has been and talked in open forum and got an answer. When the other board was.
Yeah, we're moving on. We're not gonna argue with you, okay?
No, but that's.
We're not gonna argue, but.
I'm not arguing with you, I'm just saying, I was talking to her, I'm not
I
talking to you.
I did express my concerns, Tom,
You did,
when the decision was made.
right. I remember that.
But nobody knew the decision would be made that impacted the entire town. And understand some people don't want it to happen, but it's a change of what we were doing. So we had a precedent already set, and we changed it. And we did that without input, without a forum to discuss that change.
Right.
That's
well,
my point.
The change is still being worked on, so I know you feel it was an abrupt change. I'm her number two, you know, on this, and so I'm responsible too, and I don't mind anybody talking to me about it. We had to start somewhere, and, you know, I would really like everybody to participate in going forward with it. Connie set this meeting, it's a positive thing that's gonna happen that will be more current in how you really should deal with this problem. You know, we've been comfortable with what we've been doing because that's what we know, but it's not the current science. And I think people that are really against it should open up their minds a little bit to the current science and participate. And I look forward to your participation in the future on this.
And I think what some folks are saying that I understand completely is during our department reports, that if something's going to change, especially if it's something we anticipate people would have strong feelings about, maybe to try to announce that and say, why don't you come at the next meeting before we vote so you have a chance to speak.
Very
Totally
similar to
understand.
what we did with the UTVs.
Totally get it.
It's not a done deal right now.
Yeah.
Let's propose a proposal on what we're gonna do.
Right.
We're gonna print it out here because it is gonna impact everybody in there. I don't own one of those, but it's still gonna impact me.
So hindsight 2020, that would have been better. And the decision isn't forever, right? So you're welcome as this evolves to come and keep talking, and we're happy to hear your opinions. I also understand what you're saying, that it could have been handled differently in the beginning and given people an opportunity sooner before the vote, before action was taken. And we hear that too.
Anybody else? Okay, let's move on. Okay, we need a motion to move, to add to the agenda one thing for some ongoing or upcoming training for continuing education for counselor. Can anybody get a motion on putting that on the agenda for one?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Second? Second, put it on
Second.
the agenda, okay, you got a motion and a second, all right, any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Roll call.
Roll call, I'm
We
sorry.
do that every time.
Yeah, but
Smother-
he's on there. Yay,
Smotherman,
yay.
Arnberg, here, Clark,
Yeah,
Weinzapple,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes?
Okay, now, discussion,
Do you want to know what it is?
yes, Nathan
It's
has
a
a
continuing
proposal.
education offered by the ICLEF, which is the agency that does that. It's a review of the case and statutory laws. It's a 2-day event. It'll cover a variety of subjects, and I've attended it before, and
For municipal attorneys.
it's for any attorney.
Is it?
It's
Okay.
not necessarily limited to municipal,
Okay.
but it could be. I don't know what's all going to be in there.
Okay.
When is it?
September 12th and 13th. And the cost for both days is $495.
So I make the motion that we pay for our pro bono counselor for Town of New Harmony to take this continuing education class at the cost of $495.
Have a motion for the approval?
Second that.
Got a motion and a second, any question or discussion? All in favor?
Smotherman,
Aye.
Arnberg. Aye. Clark,
aye.
Weinzapple,
Aye.
Williams.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next, Rod, on the West Well repair project,
Yeah.
under new business.
We've talked about this in past meetings. As you all know, we have 3 wells down at, that provide our water supply to the town. As you know, the well, which we call the West Well, was, during the annual inspection, had some problems or had some indications that there might be problems. So in the past, earlier, we voted to approve the funds to go ahead and pull that well, so they could pull it out of the ground, take a look at it, see what the problems were and stuff. That's been done, and so now they've done the inspection and are making suggestions on the things that we need to do to that well to bring it back up to snuff the way it should be. I placed this in everybody's inbox, and I think you've all had a chance to look at it. No need for me to read it out and go through all the boring details of all the stuff that's got to be done to it. But it's critically important, for the security of our water supply, that we get it taken care of and get the well rebuilt. Their quote on doing that's $13,391. The right below that on your sheet, where it talks about balancing the impellers, Jeff and I had a meeting with Jeremy Farrar. He suggested that while we're doing it, we get that done too, so that's another $720. So I would make a motion that we approve spending on to have the West Well rebuilt, repaired, for an amount not to exceed $15,000. That'll give them some wiggle room in case they get into something that they didn't have on their original quote, that we don't have to come back and approve $100 or something. So I move that we approve the proposal from Lane Christensen and Company for an amount not to exceed $15,000.
Okay, we got a motion for not to exceed $15,000 on the quote on the pumps on the West Well.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Smotherman,
Yes.
Arnberg. Clark,
Yes.
Weinzapple,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
All right, motion passed. Next, Rod, you're still up, I guess, on the fire hydrant replacement.
Okay. Okay, thought I had my mute on. This is something we haven't talked about yet, but it needs to be done. This has been an ongoing project that was started by the old council. There are fire hydrants left in town, and there are 5, I believe, on this proposal. The fire hydrants work. The problem is they are so old that sometimes they're hard to get shut off. So it's a matter that they need replaced. The last council has had an ongoing movement to get these done. They've selectively done 4 or 5 a year. And this is the tail end. We've got 5 left in town. They're an old style and need replaced. They're a hassle and kind of a little bit of a hazard because they're hard to get open. They typically get them open, but then sometimes they're so old, then they break all the seals in them and they have a hard time getting them shut back off. So this proposal that you have in front of you is to go ahead and complete that project, to get the last 5 done. Along with that, there are, I think, 3 fire hydrants in town that people have probably seen that have a black garbage bag over the top of them. Those are non-functioning fire hydrants. That's why the black bags are over the top of them. The fire department knows they don't function, but we keep black bags over them just to make sure everybody knows. And this proposal would also include going ahead and removing those 3 and just taking them out, so there's no confusion and we don't have the eyesore of fire hydrants with black bags hanging over them. Doesn't look very good. So you've got the proposal in front of you. The $11,668.80 is for the hydrants themselves. The $5,694 on the second sheet is for the valves and things parts and pieces that they have to go ahead and get them connected to the pipes and everything. I'm sorry, didn't add those two up, but just looking at it, let's say it's 12,000 plus another 6. So I might again say that we go ahead with the final piece of this project on replacing the fire hydrants in an amount not to exceed 18,000. That would be my motion.
Do you have the labor cost? Because it's not on here. Or is it minimal?
No, it's not minimal, and I thought it was a part of their quote. Let me read the letter on the back. Well, that quote, you are correct. It does not, okay. You're correct, and I probably should have had that as a part of this motion. This is to order the parts and the hardware, so to speak, only. The company that will come in and do it, I think it's called Nehemiah or something like that.
Blankenberger.
There you go, Blankenberger, thank you. And I apologize, I don't have their quote for the labor to do it. Probably should have had that, but I don't. In the meantime, I might suggest that we go ahead, I've already got my motion out there, to go ahead and get all this stuff ordered and everything, and then sometime we're having a special meeting or something, or maybe it'll wait until our next meeting, then I'll get the quote for the labor to get it done.
So we have a motion for not to exceed, was it 18,000 on parts?
18,000
Parts and
for
material.
Yeah.
Parts and material from utility pipe sales, and both of those are from them. So have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Have you talked about timeline, Rod?
Yeah, we have. I think it won't take long to get them in. Utility Supply says that it won't take long to get them in. It's probably more a matter of getting with Blankenberger and getting it on the schedule. But I think it'll be something that'll be done in the next few months.
Okay.
It's not going to be like our water meters where we had to wait 8 months to get them. These are easily accessible, and it should happen pretty soon.
Great.
All right.
It is a hassle. I mean, I know in the past when they've done these, there's the street or whatever it's on, I think has to have a boil order because, you're breaking open the lines and everything, for a few days and everything. But in my opinion, it's a necessary thing that we go ahead and get it done. I'd hate to have fire in front of my house and the fire hydrant be so old they can't get it open.
All right, any other questions or discussion? Roll call.
Smotherman,
Yes.
Arnberg,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes,
Weinzapple,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
thank
All
you
right,
all.
motion carries, thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, we have discussion on retaining of our clerk treasurer who is retiring as of September 1, officially September 1.
I would like to make a motion that we have a new agenda item placed on the agenda tonight that has to do with appointing our new
Oh, yes.
clerk treasurer.
Yes, that was left off the agenda, which we need to do that tonight, so.
Yeah.
Apologize.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any discussion regarding that?
Good
Okay.
idea.
Roll call.
Smotherman,
Yes.
Arnberg,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes,
Weinzapple,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Okay, so that's on the agenda. First, we will take a motion to appoint Ann Hulsman as our clerk treasurer effective September 1.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Thank you, too.
Questions, discussions? Roll call.
Smotherman,
Yes.
Arnberg,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Weinzapple,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, there you are.
September 1st. Okay, and now, well, I'm sorry, we'll move back to the retaining of our clerk treasurer. as for consultant work, possibly, whatever we want to call it. So we'll open that up for some discussion or a motion, or if we have a motion, or which way we want to go about it. Talking, I know we've all been working
I would like to
towards
table
it.
this motion. Because.
We don't have a motion yet, but you mean you'd like to table this discussion?
This discussion.
Yeah.
Because I haven't had a chance to talk to our newly voted in clerk treasurer about her needs. So I was surprised it was on the agenda. And I haven't really had a chance to talk to Carla about it. And I think Rod had pointed out at that Monday special meeting that it was maybe premature until Ann had a clear idea of what she was going to request from us. And I would like to table this until we can have that time to talk about those things. I'm making a motion to table this subject.
Motion to table that discussion on retaining the clerk treasurer as a consultant to our new coming in clerk treasurer. A second on that?
Well, my question to Nathan would be, do we need a motion? I mean, we're making a motion here to table something of which there's been no motion on, and we can't table something of which there's no motion on. I think what Tom is saying is I think we need to just give ourselves a little time to continue our research, talk to our new clerk treasurer, and talk about it next time. So my question would be whether or not we need to vote on a motion to delay it, because maybe it's making a motion. I don't know. Give us some guidance, counselor. Maybe I'm wrong.
That would be kind of up to the council. You can do it either way. I think what needs to happen is that the council needs to reach some kind of consensus on whether to discuss the issue or not. How it gets there is up to the council and the president, probably.
Well, it was open for discussion now. We have
I have
a
more of a
motion to
question
table
than
it,
a
which,
discussion.
yeah. I mean,
We had a special meeting on this subject, and my understanding, I'm a little confused too, at the end of that meeting was that I thought we needed to get a lot more information before we made this decision. So I guess I'm with Tom, and not because we haven't had a chance to talk to him, but just I thought we were gathering information on specifics before we decided. So maybe that's the same thing.
and I think some of us have done some of that.
It was stated that it was gonna be on this agenda. I mean, I've got 6 days left, so
Yeah.
she's gonna be by herself.
So, I mean, I've gotten information, I've met and talked with both of them, as well as I think Connie has some and done some research.
Well, what
I don't know.
specific, I mean, what would we be voting on if we voted tonight?
Well,
Because we don't have a price, we don't have details to vote on, right? I mean,
I gave a price.
She
monthly
has a
retainer.
proposed price from
Yeah.
the last meeting, yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't have time to get those minutes done. I am working on them, but.
No, and I remember
It was a
that.
long meeting.
So that's what we're voting on, is your offer?
Unless somebody wants to.
I think there definitely have always been other options as well. Let's just say it, right? There's lots of firms that do this, and I think what I was hoping for at the last meeting, we now know what Carla feels is fair, and that we were waiting here what the other firms felt what they could offer as well, and then decide, which I think we can do soon, but not tonight.
Okay, if there's no motion to make an agreement or proposal to retain her, I guess we will move on and table it to a special meeting that we call, or
Special meeting.
or the next month's meeting, which I don't know if that's proper for her to hang on, so, but, and y'all need to get with Ann and see what you think. And I know Connie is working on some other options that might include both her and other contractors, too, as far as dividing, because there's certain things I know that she definitely could offer us for sure, and then stuff that we're looking at moving along
Yeah.
with new things that other people would have something to offer to, consulting firms, so. If we don't want to move forward with anything tonight, then we'll move on to the next, item on the agenda. Right? I mean,
That's what I would like to do. I mean, I think it's just awkward if we're gonna hash it out tonight, because.
Well, we can't really, because we don't have the options.
Right.
Not all of them, we have Carla's,
I
but
know
not
it's
the
last
others.
minute, but, you know, I looked at your meeting, but I wasn't there, I was out of town.
I know, well, we need to move on that soon. We need to get the information and make some movements. She's gonna be ready for some consulting, I'm sure, when she takes over. So there's gonna be times and questions she has, and things to learn. So whether it be new things or things we've been doing for years here in town. So.
Well, I guess what I want to bring up is that no matter who does the transition to digital for us, no matter who we hire as a consultant to help us with that, there will still be things that only Carla knows that Ann is going to have to rely on her for. So instead, I guess what I would like to suggest is, instead of a $2,000 a month or whatever that figure is, why don't we consider giving Carla an hourly rate, and Ann can keep track of the time. She'll know when she needs to call Carla. And there are going to be things that no consultant's going to be able to provide in terms of the history, where the information is, all those detailed things. Only Carla knows. So Ann is still going to need Carla. So.
And I know Carla stated in her last meeting that she didn't want to do it on an hourly basis.
Yeah, I would concur. I feel like it needs to be an hourly rate, so, we pay when we need to help, and as opposed to doing something on a retainer where we're sunk into it. I like what Connie's saying. I think that's probably the better approach, but I think Carla has told us, no, I'm not going to do it that way, and if that's her answer, then that will certainly play into where we're at next time we talk about this.
I know one of the consulting firms that we have, or that we talked with a little bit on information on an hourly basis. Also, they would bill at I think it was quarterly increment, like 15-minute increments. So, I mean,
what's the hourly charge?
Well, this one I think was $90 an hour for this consulting firm, but if she needed to call and talk to her for 1 minute, or 2 minutes to ask her a question, or she would get paid for 15 minutes of that hour instead of us paying for the full $90 for that kind of conversation. Which, I mean, those kind of conversations are going to happen, I'm sure, if it goes that direction. So that's just one thought, which goes along with what they're saying. An hourly rate is probably more feasible for the town. I know it may not be the best option for you, but
would you consider that?
And
if she takes care of keeping track of the minutes?
You could set your rate. We're willing.
Yeah, I mean, this one.
I'll have to think about it.
Okay.
I mean,
that's fair.
we totally value.
I will consider it. I said I wouldn't. I will consider it. I didn't know that was going to be brought up again. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and this was $90 an hour. This one that we've talked to, or some of us have talked to. So just know that we want to be fair to you, of course, because we need you for sure, and need you. But try to get some other help too along the lines of some of the things that the public has asked about, technically that we add on, that learning in a new direction other than the way that maybe it's been done or you've done it in the past or whatever. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm kind of in agreement with if we could get an hourly rate figured out and base it on things like we just talked about. 15-minute increments if you call her for 5 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever. So,
but we want to look after the town's welfare.
Yeah, of course.
That's the best decision to do that. But part of the town's welfare is, a fair rate for service.
Sure.
So
exactly. As fair as we'd pay anybody, you know,
Yeah.
we're gonna be charged
And, yeah.
for whoever we use too, so I think it's necessary that Carla is a part of this, for sure, to help Ann, for sure.
So
We need her. She
we
needs
don't
her.
have a motion.
Other than tabling, no.
Okay.
So, you think about, I guess we'll set, I know we're gonna have some special meetings coming up for the town marshal stuff real soon too, so.
Right.
Hopefully we can figure it out in the meantime, and I'll work with you, talk with you, okay? And all of us will. And you too, Ann, you're a big part of this.
Yeah.
Okay, huge part of it. Okay, we'll move along on that then. Okay, I guess we're next on the Murphy Park campsite and river trail gravel estimate, and Tom Williams, I think you have that.
Yeah, you got the copies there. Turn the page here. So the trails haven't been re-gravelled in a while, and they're overdue in my estimation. This is the best time of year to do it, in, late summer, early fall.
Laura?
Yeah.
Can you do me a favor and move the mic a little closer to Tom for me?
I'm sorry, Rod, I'll talk louder. So I've been talking to Brian Strader about this, and he's done some patching down there along the river. We had a lot of heavy rains during July, made it tough to do, but we've got it better, and we're ready to have it completely done. At least we're talking about a stretch from around the cornfield to the loop, and then up a few turns, but not all the way up every trail. It amounts to, 5,800 foot of trail, about 9 feet wide. This is an estimate from Moser Crushed Stone. I spoke with Carlin Green. They've done the work before. So anyway, the estimate to do a 2-inch depth of packing stone, number 73, it's like 1 inch minus. He feels it's the most utilitarian and universal and also durable. And the estimate for that 5,800 feet of trail is $16,350. That's 500 tons of aggregate. He tells me he estimates about a ton every 10 feet, roughly. So that's the first part of this gravel estimate that I've got here.
And Tom,
Right.
that's laid, right?
Well, I talked to him today about that, and he will lay it as much as he can. His guys can back dump it really well, but he's gonna send a guy down that he feels is his expert to look at all the areas. There's gonna be some areas where we don't wanna cut trees back enough to allow the trucks to dump. It's just, we have to make those decisions. I'll get involved in that. So what he says they do then is that they'll have to dump small piles here and there for our guys to deal with, and they can do it. They've done it before. So it'll be a process, He can do it. He feels fairly soon. I mean, within a couple weeks. So we'll finally get all that laid if you guys vote to paper it. Trail system is an investment we have made, and we need to maintain it, and I feel like it's time to spend this money now to do it. So we can vote on this one at a time, or I can also give you the other camping spots information now. What's your
Give us
wish?
that other.
Okay, so the other gravel estimate here amounts to 1,900, sorry. $62. And this is to put down 2 inches of packing gravel on 9 camping spots, roughly 9 feet by 40 feet. And also then another 2 inches of what he calls top dressing, which is a non-packing gravel, but to finish it off. And so it's 30 tons for each grade of gravel to do those 9 spots. And it amounts to $1,962. He proposed that he could do 4 inches of packing gravel initially, but after I talked to him about it, he said, nah, you don't need to do that. So
now, wait a minute. So are you saying that for all the camping spots is 1,900? What's the 2,900 then? What's the
that's if
second
we
figure?
went 4 inches first,
Okay.
because it's another 30 tons. And that's what it would add up to.
Okay,
So we'd be
okay.
looking at 90 tons of gravel instead of 60 tons of gravel to do the campsites.
Okay.
You know, and, you know, the park boards, you know, they're also getting the GFI plugins set up, and their intention is to get the online reservations going and have these spaces available and see what happens, you know, see if we actually can get some use out of them and have people enjoy them.
Is that 16,000 for the Riverfront Trail, the rock?
Yes, it is.
Do we have the money from the golf cart registrations
We
to
do.
pay for that?
We currently have, I think, 42,000
right
in that account.
I didn't know about that, so I haven't looked any of that up.
Yeah, well, that's what I last
it
looked
is.
at. I
40-something
It's
thousand.
over 40,000 we have
Okay.
available, and it's meant for exactly this kind of thing, in my estimation.
So is this an additional appropriation, or is it just,
It's not an appropriated fund.
okay, so we can just do that, okay.
Right.
I don't know, are there many companies that do this kind of thing? It's just a big enough number, I wonder if it'd be worth checking with another company, but if there aren't many in the area, then.
I could if you want, but this is the company that
Did it before.
everybody says is the one, so I'm feeling pretty confident.
Balzer's the gravel pit up by the interstate, and it's a good question, Laura, but it's all about transportation on stuff like that. I mean, if you start hauling it in from another quarry a long way off, the transportation costs are gonna.
I'm not sure they're even quarrying out of there.
Balzer's is, because it didn't take them very long to get here.
I don't think they're even quarrying out of there, out by the interstate anymore.
Well,
I don't know where it would come from.
That's where
Okay,
they store
so-
everything. That's where the gravel will be coming from, I'm sure.
Well, we don't know, but we've got this quote right here in front of us.
Yeah, I'm fishing, you know, for a motion to grant this.
I make that motion. That we do both of these projects.
I'll second.
Motion and a second.
Now, yeah.
Yes, motion and a second. Any discussion? Further discussion?
My only comment is just to reiterate something that's already been said. Look, there's over $40,000 that's accumulated specifically
To do this.
in our trail fund to take care of our trails. And that money hasn't been spent in a long time. So we're spending 16,000 of a number that's way north of 40 to basically build trails up for a few years so we can continue to use them and enjoy them. So I think, to me, it's a no-brainer.
And we're gonna use the same funds to do the park? The gravels in the park? Is that what we're
Well,
saying?
that wouldn't come out of the trail
No.
fund.
That's what I'm saying, that's what
That
I'm
would have to
asking,
come out
so.
of another fund. It's not a big number
There's some- I know that-
comparatively, but I think there's funds for it to come out of.
And I know there's some parks fund
Yeah.
as well, yes, so
I mean, we've got
we'll have to figure that. Okay, any other discussion? Roll call,
Smotherman.
Aye.
Arnberg.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Weinzapple.
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
all right, motion carries.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I guess, Connie, you are going
Yeah.
with the street tree estimates for pruning and removal.
Yes, So Tom and I have been working on this, trying to deal with the street trees. We had 10 trees initially that citizens wrote up as problematic. And so we've gotten estimates from 2 companies. One is American Eagle Tree Service, and the other one is Wabash Valley Tree Service. So this would be 10 different trees, 5 removals, 5 prunings, everywhere from Murphy Park, Church Street, East Street, North Street, West Street, Tavern Street. And the bid from American Eagle on those 10 trees was $10,250. The bid from Wabash Valley Tree was $6,050. So that's one piece of it. Since that initial 10 tree batch, we have identified 2 other big trees that are on town property. One is on North Street, it's a big hickory that is dead. Another one is actually by our wellhead protection on Tavern Street. It is a giant sycamore and it is dead. So we have a bid from Wabash Valley Tree for $2,900 for both of those trees. So I would like to make the motion that we go ahead and take care of this. We already have, a half dozen more that are gonna be on the next tranche of trees that we're gonna have to take care of. But I would like to make the motion that we accept the 2 different bids from Wabash Valley Tree.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept the 2 different bids from Wabash Valley. Any discussion?
So that is $8,950 in total for 12 trees.
I was told by American Eagle that they're at least 6 weeks out. Wabash Valley has said 4 to 5 weeks out. Jim's here tonight.
Is that to complete?
No, that's to
start.
Is that correct? Everybody in the tree business is extremely busy now, and this has really taken a long time. I apologize to the homeowners that it's drug out so long, but it's just the nature of it that we're all getting the hang of here. Also, all these recommendations have been vetted. We have hired Tom Guggenheim to make arborist reports.
So on each one of these trees, he's making a report for us, and we have that paperwork backup that will become part of the file along with the bids and other things related to this work. So that'll all become part of the record, and that's when I talk about a tree inventory, that's what I'm talking about, is that we establish a record of what we're doing with all of these trees.
We have a lot of trees aging out all at once. That's what the town's
That's the
facing
thing.
right now.
I'm sure
A
there's
lot
that
of them are
many
street
more
tree
that need
maples.
attention, probably.
Oh, they're
but
everywhere.
It's gonna be an ongoing project.
I'm sure
So
there's
we wanna get
easily
started.
that many more that we could do today, I'm sure. And
Right.
so,
So
Okay.
that's my motion, and
and we have a second.
Tom's second.
Yeah, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Smotherman,
Yes.
Arnberg. Yep. Clark.
He's probably muted.
Oh, he's
Oh, he might not be able, well, that one's not
Yay.
plugged in.
Yay, nay?
Your mic's muted, Rod, on your end.
He's not hearing this.
Yeah, the room in.
Yeah, I'm like, up
I
now.
can't fix that. I mean, he's here. It doesn't matter, we can vote with 4
Yeah.
of us.
Winesapple,
Aye.
Williams.
Thank you, motion carries. Okay, Parks Board name change to the new Harmony Parks Trails and Tree Board. Tom?
Well, I was surprised I got on the
I
agenda.
voted yay.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Ron. I was told we could just change it, but the new official name is going to be, or I'm proposing it to be, the Parks Board concurs, will be called the New Harmony Parks, Trails, and Tree Board. We made the
Does that require an
separation of
ordinance?
park trees
Does that
and
require an
street
ordinance?
trees, and
Doesn't that require an ordinance?
didn't
The title of it, what did we call it? I thought that's what we called
I
it.
thought
Park
that's
and,
what
Park
we
and
called.
Recreation Board, I thought.
No,
Parks and Recreation Tree Board.
Parks and Recreation Tree Board.
Didn't include the trails.
New Harmony.
It didn't include the trail, did it? I know they
So-
divided them at one time.
I mean, it doesn't matter if we want to postpone this and include it in the ordinance. Do I make a motion to do that?
Well, we can just move on and not address this.
Just bring the ordinance next time.
Yeah.
and We'll vote on
Have our
it.
attorney double check on this and bring it next time.
Where is that?
Sorry.
I don't know.
But that's what we called
It never had trails in it. I mean, the title I saw.
When we did the separation, I'm sure I made it real clear that it had those three things. But then the Parks Board wanted to know, well, is that our official name currently, now that we made that change? We neglected to address that evidently, that, okay, now it's gonna be called this. So it's a small point that I don't want to belabor too much here.
Well, why don't we ask our attorney to look into this and bring it to the next meeting? How
Address
about
it,
that?
address it
Yeah,
at the next
yeah.
meeting.
We would like that to be the name, if you can arrange that.
Okay, so we'll address that next meeting.
Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, finally, quote on
You're up
Rip
again.
Rap,
Rip
We're
rap.
ready
Yes,
for picnic,
okay.
picnic tables.
Yeah, there's,
did I miss the picnic table?
yeah, there's, right.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes,
Oh,
that's you too, Tom.
sorry.
Purchase of picnic tables.
Okay.
Well, the Parks Board has recommended that, and this is in coordination with One New Harmony, because they've offered to pay for half of this purchase, a purchase of 6 tables. These are the really nice tables that are the plasticized metal tables, green on the top, holes in the seats and top, and then heavy black bases. And
Handicap accessible too,
handicap
right?
accessible. For 6 tables, they're expensive. It's $5,438. That's the quote Andy Batt got for us for the Parks Board. And he would like us to approve the purchase of those in conjunction with One New Harmony to pay for it. Now, I don't know how we've arranged that in the past. We've done that in the past where they've paid for half of a table and bench set purchase.
That 5438, that's the total, and then splitting that's the
Right,
number.
correct, yeah.
Okay. Okay,
So.
proposal on the table, is that a motion to,
Do I
Tom?
make this motion?
You can.
Okay, I would like to make a motion that the town pay for, order and pay for these tables and get reimbursed half by the One New Harmony.
Okay, we have a motion to order the tables, 6 tables at $5,438.40. And do we have a second? And split with One New Harmony, that cost.
I'll second.
And a second. We have any discussion?
Well, part of the reason that One New Harmony wants to participate in purchasing these is they are sponsors of the Coons Fest. And we use Murphy Park tables and benches for the Coons Fest. And we're needing 6 more so we don't strip the park bare during Coons Fest, because we want that to be used as well. And now we've got another shelter house that needs, picnic tables and benches. And for this particular Coons Fest, our shelter house is rented as well, so we can't steal those either and just lock it up. That would have been convenient, but no. So we're hoping to get these in before Coons Fest and, help it out. So I don't know.
Okay.
That's what we're after. I think that's the intention.
I appreciate the collaboration that you have, but, okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Smotherman,
Yes.
Arnberg.
Yep.
Clark,
Yes.
Wines-Apple,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Okay, now, I'm sorry I jumped over that. And now with the quote for treatment for the riprap, Tom, that's you again.
Right, so the riprap is a real important part of the security of our town. The water wants to come this way, and we've got to stop it. It's been a little neglected, partially my fault and partially just the transition of people that's been going on. We have a new superintendent. It's a tough issue because it's not a convenient thing to take care of. Right now, we have a lot of maple saplings wanting to disturb the riprap. If they get too big and we get a good flood water, their roots being washed away with the bigger trees can really disturb the riprap. They're currently 2, 3, maybe 4 feet tall. Our guys can't deal with it at this stage of the game. They've tried. We've even talked about, and we may do this in the future, where they use a boat to maintain what this company can set up for us. But Andy Batt and I talked about it down there looking at trails, and I asked him about this. He called Hovey Lake. The guy said, try these people. I think they can do it. So this is a company out of Poseyville, Indiana, called Ancient Roots Native Nursery. And they do this. And I've got a quote here that amounts to $2,520 to do the entire stretch of the riprap and guarantee that they will kill everything on it. The reason it has to be killed, aside from future growth getting too big, is that it has to be inspectable. We're supposed to get yearly inspections, but I don't think it happens that often. But the lady that runs this company, Donna Ray, says that this is the ideal time of year to do it. This is when you want to do it. This is when the little saplings and trees are going to start losing their leaves. The way to get this poison in them is through their bark. It has to be totally drenched. They're going to do it. We'll have to close the trails for a day. They will attack it from above and below. They have a duck hunting boat that they use, a big flatbed thing, and they've done it before, and they're confident they can get the job done. And they're also willing to, she's willing to teach our guys in the future to maintain it. She said, once I can clear this for you, your guys could do it twice, if they did it twice a year, and then we might entertain the idea of our guys getting in a boat and doing it. There's some liability issues there, but anyway, I think it would be a really good investment for us to have this company do this work for us at this time.
Okay, is that a motion?
I would like to make a motion that we hire this company to do this work at this time. And they'll do it between now and October 1st, because that's the ideal time to do it. And they
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? What was that total cost? Oh, go ahead, Rob.
I'd like to add 2 things. Number one, when the Corps of Engineers worked with the town to do that bank riprap project, it was a part of, the Corps of Engineers requires us to do this. It requires that we keep it vegetation free. I think Tom used the statement, so it could be inspected. That is true, but I mean, and that is why that they required to do it. So we really don't have a choice. We're supposed to be keeping all that riprap clear and everything. That's what the Corps of Engineers are required whenever they did the project for us. So there's that. Second thing, Tom, I support it, and I think it's the quickest, easiest, and safest way to get it done. I would like to make sure, though, that we have their certificates of insurance and everything as a part of the project.
Yeah, they're totally insured, and they're guaranteeing results. She said they would come back as much as it took to make sure it works and clears it off.
So, as we've required with other third-party contractors that we have to do stuff, just make sure that we get their certificate of insurance before they.
Yeah, no, totally, that's fine. I will ask for that, and I'm sure readily available.
Do we have any idea how long it's been since it was treated at all? I mean, what the growth that's there, how old?
Rod has gone out there and done it.
It's been treated by our guys a lot, but it's gotten away
But
from us.
not very effectively.
Not very effective. Well,
Right.
and the thing she pointed out, the reason that all the Roundup spray, companies are constantly changing is because these plants are resistant. And she said, if you don't kill it, it makes it stronger. Well, I think our guys, inadvertently have been making this stuff stronger and more virile, and, it's not their fault, it's just that that's the case, so.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please, Carl.
Smotherman,
Yes.
Arnberg. Yep. Clark,
Yes.
Weinzapple,
Yes.
Williams.
Okay, next we have a motion to approve the claims. Everybody got one? Got a motion?
Second.
And the second? Any discussion? All in favor? Oh, roll call, I'm sorry.
Smotherman,
Yes.
Arnberg. Yes. Clark,
I'm going to abstain because I haven't had a chance to review them. I've been out there.
Weinzapple,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
All right. All done. A motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, roll call, yeah.
Smotherman.
Yeah.
Arnberg. Yes. Clark,
Aye.
Weinzapple,
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Okay.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
Looking at another time.
Yes, thank you, Carl, very much.
Is,
I know you still got a few days. Thank God. Thank God.
we did was we gave